Have you ever wondered what it's like to be inside one of the most powerful storms on Earth? We're talking about a Category 5 hurricane. Its winds can reach a staggering 157 miles per hour.
You got this tractor trailer that's coming! Tractor trailer right here! Oh!
To put that in perspective, that's fast enough to lift a car right off the ground. A single hurricane can release the energy of 10,000 nuclear bombs. It's a true monster of nature. Imagine you're in a house as this monster passes over. For hours, you hear nothing but a deafening roar. The wind howls like a freight train, and you can feel the entire building shake. It's a terrifying experience that makes you feel incredibly small and powerless against the sheer force of our planet. But then, something strange happens. Something that doesn't make any sense. The roaring stops. The violent shaking ceases. The rain, which was hitting your windows like machine gun fire, turns into a gentle drizzle. You peek outside, and you see something unbelievable, a patch of blue sky. The sun is shining. Birds might even start singing. This calm, peaceful area surrounded by a towering wall of storm clouds is called the eye of the hurricane. Your first thought is probably, phew, it's over. We survived. It feels like the storm has passed and it's safe to go outside to check for damage. This feeling is completely logical, but in this case, being logical could be a fatal mistake. Because that calm, beautiful eye is actually the most deceptive and dangerous part of the entire storm. Why think of a hurricane not as a big cloud, but as a giant spinning donut? The stormy, windy parts are the donut itself, called the eyewall. The empty hole in the middle is the eye. When you are in the eye, you are temporarily safe from the wind. But the problem is, the donut is still moving. You've only passed through the front half of it. The back half is coming right for you, and it's just as violent as the first. In this video, we're going to dive deep into this incredible natural phenomenon. We'll show you the amazing physics that create this strange oasis of calm in the middle of total chaos. We'll explore the three major dangers that the eye hides. The terrifying second strike from the reverse winds. 2. A silent, invisible flood called a storm surge that can happen even when the sky is clear. 3. And the simple, psychological mistake that has tricked so many people into leaving safety too soon. So if you're ready to understand the hidden secrets of nature's biggest storms, stick around. This isn't just a cool weather fact, this is survival knowledge. And here at Y-Zone 360, we believe understanding why things are dangerous is the key to staying safe. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. To understand the deadly trap of the hurricane's eye, you don't need to be a scientist. You just need to understand how a whirlpool works. Let's build this monster together and see why it's a perfect killing machine. It all starts over the warm waters of the ocean like the Gulf of Mexico. The sun heats the water, and just like a pot on the stove, steam or warm, moist air begins to rise. This creates an empty space underneath an area of low pressure. Nature hates empty spaces, so air from all around rushes in to fill the void. But here's the first terrifying trick the Earth is spinning. Always spinning. This spin gives the incoming air a slight push, forcing it to spiral inwards instead of going straight. Think about what happens when you pull the plug in a full bathtub. The water doesn't drain straight down, it forms a vortex, a whirlpool. A hurricane is nothing more than a giant, violent atmospheric whirlpool thousands of times larger than the one in your tub. As this whirlpool feeds on more warm water, it grows into a structure designed for maximum destruction. On the very outside, you have the rain bands. These are the storm's long-reaching arms. If a hurricane is hitting Miami, people in Orlando will feel these arms' first heavy rain, strong winds. It's scary, but this is just the monster warning you that it's coming. Move closer to the center, and you enter the kill zone, the eye wall. Forget everything else. This is the hurricane. This is a solid circular wall of wind and rain screaming at speeds over 150 miles per hour. It is a vertical blade of pure power reaching miles into the sky. The winds here don't just blow, they shred. They will rip the roof off your house. They will turn your neighbor's patio furniture into deadly missiles. This is the part of the storm that kills. This is the spinning blade. But then, right in the center of this screaming chaos, the laws of physics create a paradox, a freak of nature. As the winds spiral inwards, they move so fast that they can't reach the absolute center. They are violently thrown upwards, creating the eye wall. This creates a vacuum in the middle. to fill that vacuum air from high above the storm. Cold, dry, and heavy begins to sink down. And sinking air does two things. It kills clouds and it kills wind. This creates the eye, a perfectly calm, often sunny hole of peace right in the middle of a war zone. Now I want you to truly imagine this. You've just spent hours in a sealed room listening to the world being torn apart. You've heard things hit your house that sound like car crashes. You are convinced you are going to die. And then science, blue sky. The terror is gone. What is the first thing you want to do? You want to see if you're still alive. You want to see if your house is still standing. That single human impulse to open the door is the first step into the hurricane's true trap. So the structure is simple: a spinning blade of death, the eyewall with a calm hole of deception in the middle, the eye, a perfect donut of destruction. But this donut is moving across the land, which means first you must survive the front of the blade, then you get a brief false peace in the eye, and then you have to face the back of the blade. This is where the real horror begins. It's not just more wind. It's a calculated two-part attack designed to break anything that was merely bent the first time. And in our next chapter, we will show you exactly why that second strike is a killer. So the first half of the storm has passed over you, the noise stops, the sky clears, and you're standing in the eye. It feels safe, but it's actually a trap. So what exactly makes this calm center so dangerous? There are three main reasons, and the first one is all about a simple mistake in thinking. Imagine you've been in a loud, scary room for hours, then suddenly everything goes quiet. What's your first instinct? It's to think, finally it's over, and relax. That's exactly what your brain does during the eye of a hurricane. It's a phenomenon called confirmation bias. You want the storm to be over, so your brain looks for any sign that confirms it, like the blue sky, and ignores the warning signs like the distant roar. This feeling of relief is incredibly strong. It makes people do things they shouldn't. They think, I'll just be quick. I'll just step outside to see the damage. They open the door, and for a few minutes, everything seems fine. The air is still, the sun might be shining. It looks and feels like the storm has passed. Have you ever been so relieved that something was over that you let your guard down too soon? Maybe after a tough exam or a long flight. Share your story in the comments below. It's a very human thing to do. But here's the hard fact. A hurricane's eye can last anywhere from 30 minutes to over an hour. That's a lot of time to be fooled into thinking you're safe. While people are outside checking on their property or just enjoying the quiet, the clock is ticking. They are completely exposed out in the open with no idea what's coming next. They think they are survivors looking at the aftermath, but in reality, they are standing in the direct path of the storm's second attack. Now for the second and much more physical danger. Remember how we said a hurricane is like a giant spinning donut. The eyewall is the donut, and it has two sides, a front and a back. The winds in a hurricane are constantly spiraling inwards. This means the wind hitting you from the front of the storm comes from one direction, say the north. But the wind hitting you from the back of the storm will come from the exact opposite direction, the south. That's what the second eyewall does. The first half of the storm weakens everything. It bends trees, loosens roof panels, and damages walls. Then the second eyewall strikes from the opposite direction, hitting all those weakened points and causing catastrophic failure. This reverse attack is why so many buildings that survive the first half of a hurricane are completely destroyed by the second. But the wind isn't the only thing trying to kill you. There's a third silent danger that most people never see coming, a danger that can exist even in the calm, sunny weather of the eye, and in our next chapter, we'll reveal what it is. There is another killer present in the eye of the storm, one that is silent, invisible, and it attacks not from the side but from below. The second killer, the silent flood. This is one of the most misunderstood and deadliest aspects of a hurricane. The eye of the storm is the point of the lowest atmospheric pressure. Think of the normal atmosphere as a heavy blanket pressing down on the ocean. Inside the eye, that blanket is suddenly lifted. This creates a vacuum effect. The low pressure literally sucks the ocean upwards, creating a massive broad bulge of water directly beneath the eye. This is the storm surge. This is not a wave. It is the entire ocean level rising. It can raise the sea by 10, 15, even 20 feet or more above normal tide levels. Now picture the terrifying reality. You are in the eye. The sun is out, the wind is calm. You think you are safe, but beneath you silently and invisibly, the ocean is rising. Water begins to creep up the streets, not with the violence of a wave, but with the slow, relentless certainty of a filling bathtub. By the time the second eyewall hits, you are not just facing monstrous winds. You are facing them while standing in 10 feet of water. Your shelter is flooded. Your escape routes are cut off. You are trapped between the spinning blade from above and the rising abyss from below. This combination, the psychological trap, the reverse wind strike, and the silent storm surge, is what makes the eye of a hurricane not an oasis, but the perfectly engineered center of a kill zone. It uses calm to lure you, out wind to break you, and water to finish the job. So the trap is set, the weapons are revealed, the danger is absolute. Knowing all of this, what is the single unbreakable rule that separates survivors from statistics? In our final part, we will give you the blueprint. So we've seen how the hurricane's eye can be a huge trap with its reverse winds and the sneaky storm surge. It's a pretty terrifying setup by Mother Nature. But the good news is, surviving it is actually surprisingly simple. You don't need to be a superhero, you just need to know one single golden rule. Are you ready? This might be the most important piece of hurricane advice you ever hear. The golden rule. When the storm goes quiet, you don't. That's it. When the crazy winds of a hurricane suddenly stop and the sun comes out, that's not your signal to relax. That's your signal to be extra alert. You are now in the eye of the storm and you're on the clock. You have a short window of time before the other side of the storm hits. So what should you do? Here are some simple do's and don'ts that could literally save your life. First, the don'ts. This is super important. Don't go outside. I know it's tempting, but just don't do it. Now, even for a quick peek. You don't know if you have 5 minutes or 50 minutes of calm. Don't open your doors or windows. Your shelter just survived the first half. Don't weaken it now. The winds will be back. Now for the DOs. Use this quiet time wisely. A do? Listen to a weather radio. This is your best friend. It will tell you where the eye is and how much time you might have. Do move to a higher floor. Remember that silent flood we talked about, the storm surge. If you're in a flood-prone area, use this time to get to the highest, safest point in your house. Do check in with your family who are in the same shelter. Make sure everyone is okay and remind them that the storm is not over. It's amazing how a calm moment can be so dangerous, right? It kind of applies to other things in life too. Have you ever had a situation where you thought a problem was over, but it came back even stronger? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear it. So there you have it. The secret to surviving the eye of the hurricane isn't about being strong. It's about being smart and patient. By understanding why the calm is a trap, you can avoid making a fatal mistake. And that's what we're all about here at Y-Zone 360. We break down the world's biggest dangers to give you the knowledge you need to stay safe. If you learned something new today and feel a little bit smarter and safer, then do us a huge favor. Give this video a like and smash that subscribe button. Share it with a friend who lives in a hurricane zone. It might just be the most important video they watch all year. Stay curious and stay safe.